The moon hung low in the sky, a haunting crimson orb that bathed the world in its eerie glow. The dark forest at the edge of the alien king's dominion was alive with an unsettling silence. This silence was unnatural, a hushed whisper of danger lurking in every shadow. The trees themselves seemed to shiver with fear, their leaves trembling under the weight of the moon's blood-red light. Deep within this forest, a tribe of monkeys moved with a strange, erratic energy. They were unlike any ordinary monkeys. Their fur was matted and stained with a deep dark red, as if they had been dipped in blood. Their eyes glowed with a sinister, unearthly light that reflected the hunger inside them, a hunger that could never be satisfied. They were the blood monkeys, creatures of chaos and terror, born from the darkest corners of the alien king's imagination. The blood monkeys were not just scavengers, they were destroyers. Wherever they went, they left a trail of destruction in their wake. Their behavior was erratic, unpredictable. One moment they would be sitting still, eyes glazed over as if lost in some horrific memory. The next they would explode into a frenzy of violence, tearing apart anything or anyone that crossed their path. Tonight, the forest was their playground. A group of them moved through the underbrush. Their movements a disturbing combination of animalistic grace and raw, primal aggression. They communicated in a series of guttural growls and high-pitched shrieks that echoed through the trees, sending shivers down the spines of any creatures unfortunate enough to hear them. Their leader, a massive alpha male with eyes that burned like fire, led them forward. His face was a mask of twisted fury, his teeth bared in a permanent snarl. As they moved deeper into the forest, the blood monkeys came upon a small village nestled in a clearing. The village was quiet, its inhabitants asleep, unaware of the nightmare that was about to descend upon them. The alpha monkey stopped, raising his head to sniff the air. He could smell them, the humans. The scent of their blood filled his nostrils, and a low growl rumbled deep in his throat. Without warning, the blood monkeys descended upon the village with a terrifying speed and brutality. They moved like shadows, slipping through the darkness with an almost supernatural stealth. Doors were ripped from their hinges, windows shattered, and the air was filled with the sounds of terrified screams. The blood monkeys tore through the village, their claws and teeth ripping into anything they could find. Flesh, wood, metal, it didn't matter. They were driven by an insatiable thirst for blood, their madness fueled by the red glow of the moon above. A young woman named Ilara awoke to the sounds of chaos outside her small home. Her heart pounded in her chest as she peered out the window, her breath catching in her throat at the sight before her. She watched in horror as the blood monkeys tore through her village, their eyes glowing like embers in the darkness. She knew she had to escape, but where could she go? There was no escaping the blood monkeys, not when they were driven by the madness of the blood moon. She grabbed a small knife from her kitchen and held it close, her hands trembling. She could hear them outside now, their growls and shrieks growing louder. She backed away from the door, her eyes darting around the room, searching for a place to hide. But it was too late. The door burst open with a deafening crash, and the alpha monkey stood in the doorway, his eyes locking onto hers. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Ilara could feel her heart hammering in her chest, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The alpha monkey stared at her, his eyes filled with a terrifying intelligence. He could smell her fear, taste the adrenaline in the air. And then, with a sudden, bone-chilling screech, he lunged at her. Ilara screamed, raising the knife in a desperate attempt to defend herself, but the alpha monkey was too fast, too strong. He swatted the knife away with a powerful swipe of his clawed hand, knocking Ilara to the ground. She scrambled backward, her eyes wide with terror as the monkey loomed over her, his mouth open in a hideous grin. She could see her reflection in his blood-red eyes, a reflection of pure, unadulterated fear. And in that moment she knew that there was no escaping the blood monkeys. They were creatures of chaos, beings of pure, unrelenting terror, and under the blood-red light of the moon, they would stop at nothing to sate their insatiable hunger. The alpha monkey leaned down, his hot breath washing over Ilara's face, and she knew that her end was near. She closed her eyes, bracing herself for the inevitable. But then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the monkey pulled back, his head snapping to the side as if listening to some unheard command. He let out a low growl, then turned and bounded out of the house, disappearing into the night. Ilara lay there, her body trembling, her mind reeling. She had been spared for now, but she knew the blood monkeys would return. They always did. And when they did, there would be no escape from their bloodthirsty wrath. Not for her, not for anyone. Outside, the blood monkeys continued their rampage, their howls echoing through the forest as the blood moon watched from above, a silent witness to the horror it had unleashed.